So, I received a visit from a former student. No, okay, I'm thinking the wrong thing. Yeah, I received a visit from a former student, and I actually got 2 visits. And he had looked at the syllabus for 1410, because he took it 5 years ago. And he said, it's gotten so complicated. And asked him what he meant. And it turns out what he meant was we're using a lot more third-party software than there was in the past. So I was going to briefly explain to you what's in this Canvas page and everything it's linked to. So the changes in the course make it harder to describe in the syllabus. The syllabus has gotten more complicated, but the content of the course has stayed the same. So here is the Canvas page. Now this link right here, help, is the most common answer we give when someone says, how do I do something, is we say, click on the help link. So on the help page, you'll find the TAs listed. You'll find my office hours. You'll find the schedule for the TA's consulting hours, which don't exist yet, but will. You'll see a link to asking questions on Piazza. We'll talk about in a second. And yet another way to make appointments with staff. So essentially, when you need help, the TAs are going to be in Web L226 for many hours per week. That's a lab upstairs across the courtyard. And you can show up and you can get accounts for the user computers up there. They're Windows machines and Linux machines, just desktops. Or you can bring your own laptop and work in there. And we have this TA call queue, you see a link right there, that you can use. Essentially, when you need help, you put your name on the queue, and the TA serves people off the queue, and they come find you when it's your turn to help you. So you don't have to be looking for the TA. So that's what's called drop-in help. Well, also, once the semester gets rolling, create something called drop-in consulting. So it'll be possible for you to make 30-minute appointments with individual TAs if you need more help than you can get otherwise. So we'll get that. All this stuff has to get ramped up. We need an assignment first before there's much a need for TA hours. Yeah.
Can you use like a personal PC for most of your assignments and so forth? Then your best bet would be to ask questions electronically as you go to Piazza?
Well, you can go to the lab with your lab. If you want to get answers in person, you need to go to the lab with your computer.
There's no kind of online call or so forth if you want to people.
Yeah, I haven't. That's something I thought about. Maybe I'll actually do something this semester about giving a way to get help without being there in person. Okay, so that's the help page. There's just lots of data. Those are the labs right there that shows the schedule. This is going to change, but you can see what TAs are in the lab at which times. So that's the help page. Oops. There we go. The schedule is another important one, and the schedule is the same thing as modules over here. So if we go look at the schedules, it just gives a week-by-week list of what we've done. So there's Monday. It talks about what I talked about. It has a link to my slides. Tuesday, there's the lab material. It's available now. You can click on it. Wednesday, there's the slides I'm going to use for Wednesday. Eventually, the Thursday assignment will show up right there. So that's where you can look to see what's going on or what happened in the past. Resources is help on a variety of topics, like how to use the ZyBook, how to use Piazza, how to install Java and Eclipse, and so on. How to obtain a KDLab account. KDLab account is what you need to work in that lab over yonder that I mentioned. So this sort of frequently asked questions, answers appear there. This is a link to your ZyBook, or at least a link to a page that says how to use the ZyBook. Yeah, you had a question?
Are we going to use the ZyBooks for the next level class next semester?
I do not believe they use a ZyBook in 24/20. One nice thing about the ZyBook, it does cost $58, but if you happen to drop the class, you get your money back. They claim that if you drop the class, no matter how late you drop the class, they'll give you your money back. You have to ask for it, but they'll do that. Okay, Piazza. So Piazza is a discussion forum, basically. So what you click through from, I guess the best way to get to it is not what I just did. But you just come here to the Piazza link on the left here and say open link in new tab. And then it knows, if you come through that way, you don't have to tell them who you are. It knows who you are from Canvas. And then you pick a password and continue. So when you have questions, some of you will be tempted to email me your questions. Please don't. Post your questions to Piazza. Now, the thing, when you post to Piazza, you can choose to post just to me, or to just me and the TAs, or to everybody. So clearly, if there's some family emergency and you need an extension on an assignment, you can still use Piazza, just post it to me. You don't have to post it to the whole class. On the other hand, if it's a question that's the answer is going to be of interest to the whole class, like I think you tell me that you think I made a mistake on the assignment, post that so the whole class can see it. Now, when you ask a question on Piazza, there'll be two boxes. One is the box where the students can type answers, and the other is where instructors and TAs type answers. And it's supposed to be like a wiki. So the idea is that you can collaborate as students on preparing the student answer to the question. And me and the TAs can collaborate answering, or the instructor answer to the question. And it really helps us if you guys answer the questions. There's a way we can, if you answer a question as a student, and I like the answer, I'll go mark it so you can see that I sort of approved of the answer. And I won't bother answering myself. Okay? If there's something I have to answer I don't like, then I'll either fix it or I'll post my own answer. Yeah?
How quickly do you respond?
He asked, how quickly do I respond? The right question is, how quickly does someone respond? And last semester, I got kind of lazy about answering right away, and the average response time to a question dropped to about 20 minutes. In past semesters, when I've been more engaged with I use my phone to answer questions on Piazza. It was under 10 minutes. But I don't think I have it in me to do the 10 minute. The 20-minute me, I think I can still do, but the 8-minute me, I can't. You get your answer pretty fast. Okay. There's Java, links to Java documentation, which you won't need for a while. And that's a link to the YouTube videos, which I may end up having to decide not to put on YouTube and put them on, link them into Canvas instead. I want to see after class how that's going to be involved. Anyway, the videos will be available. If you go look at assignments, it'll show you what's coming up. So you can see Lab 1 is due on the 20th, but you have until September 3rd. P1W, that's the participation week 1 Wednesday. Participation 1 Monday is already overdue. And then C1 is the challenge activities for the first week. So you can see the assignments that are coming out. So sort of the cycle of the week is assignments come out on Friday. And so your first assignment will come out Friday. It'll be due the following Thursday. But also during that week, you'll be doing the Zybook stuff and you'll be doing the lab. So there's really something due each day, and that's by design. I need to keep you engaged in this. So you have participation activities on Monday and Wednesday, challenge activities on Friday, problem set on Thursday, lab on Tuesday. So you don't have to work constantly, but I do want you to at least think about the class for a little bit each day. Yeah?
Does the P1W a Zybook thing?
Yeah. So P1W is what that's telling you if you click on it. It says do the participation activities in section 2.1 through 2.8 of Zybook. That's what you should do for before class on Wednesday. But again, first 2 weeks I got this blanket extension, so it'll take you a while to get used to it. Yeah?
How would you know that we've done this?
The book, I can download from the Zybook's website a report on what everyone's done. And I don't do this. kind of tedious. I forget. Did I do it? It's simplest to me to do it all at the end, but I think I do better than that. I think I can update it periodically on campus. Yeah?
How practical is it to use your phone to do this iPhone assignments, or is that not possible?
What do you think?
Not practical.
Yeah, he says not practical. It's got lots of diagrams and forms and stuff, so it'd be tough. All right. Well, let's talk about programming. So what you're looking at here, what I just opened up, is Eclipse. So Eclipse is what's called an IDE, Integrated Development Environment. It's the place we'll be running Java code in. And so what I have here is a very simple program. I'm going to, I thought I had increased the size here, but let me increase it some more. And it's probably going to be at least a month before I will explain every last detail of every last thing in here. Turns out we got to apply a little abstraction to Java as well. We'll do things sometimes well before we understand why we're doing them. But so I'm not here today to explain everything you see. I just want to tell you that if you look at this block here called main, that's essentially the program. Now, most of you don't know Java, so look at that, and even though you don't know Java, can you tell what it does? Besides the fact that it's explained in these comments. The stuff in blue is comments that I wrote. They're not. That's for you to read. Yeah, converts from Fahrenheit to Celsius. So what does the first line do? Okay, so it's asking the user to enter some number in degrees Fahrenheit. Okay? And what's the next line do?
It's the number out of what they put in.
Yeah, so that's kind of a weird thing. The user enters a bunch of characters, and those characters have to be converted into a number in front of it. So it's converting what the user typed into a number. And then the next line is actually doing the conversion. It's doing some math, you can tell. And the last line is displaying the answer. And what clues do you have as to what's going on? I mean, things are named reasonably, right? So temp F and temp C, temperature Fahrenheit, temperature Celsius. That method show input dialog. That tells you it's displaying some sort of dialog box that asks for input, or show message dialog. So there's a lot you can figure out just by looking at it. Now, suppose I gave you an assignment right now, and I said change it so that it takes degrees Celsius and converts it to Fahrenheit. You think you'd be able to do that? Yeah. You know, you change that F to a C in the first line, and then the next line you'd be converting the input into temp C, and the third line you'd have to change the math. That'd be the hardest part, to produce temperature Fahrenheit, and then you print it out. But it'd be pretty straightforward. Okay? So you know, you can get a long way without knowing anything. Now, next time, what we're going to do is, when I say next time, a lot of times you think it's time to get up and leave. I don't mean that. But we'll start looking at the smallest pieces that make up Java programs, and gradually work our way up to something like this, and then beyond. But I just wanted to prove to you that if someone gives you a working program, it's not that hard to modify it. Now, you may be wondering how to run a program. So to run a program, there's a little thing up here that says run. So I click run, and up pops the dialog box. Now I'll just warn you, sometimes for reasons I've never understood, it pops up underneath Eclipse. You have to go digging and find the dialog box under Eclipse. So if we enter something like 212, which is the boiling point in Fahrenheit, and we click OK, we get our answer to be 100. Okay? So easy enough. Now look at it some more, and I want to hear an answer from someone that's never seen Java before. Why do you suppose, there are actually two of these things that are very similar. When I ran the program, why did it run those four statements there, instead of these 6 statements here? Yeah.
Because they're first.
He said because they're first. That's a reasonable guess, but it's actually not right. Yeah.
Because job always runs the main function.
Right. It's because it's called main. It's actually a little bit more than that, but the first thing it has to be is called main. And so this one I call main X. So I'm going to change it now. I'm going to change this and call it main X. And you'll notice, when you see red, it puts us complaining about something. Now, you don't know Java, but can you imagine what it's complaining about? That when I just changed the name of something to main X. Right, I got 2 things called main X. And in fact, if we go and hover the mouse over the red, it's going to say duplicate method, main X, and type hello. Okay? And so I'm going to fix it by changing that to main. So you can see what Eclipse does for you. It gives you a place to type the code. It keeps the code organized over here on the left. Those programs can consist of multiple files. It gives you a way to run it. And it tells you when you made certain kinds of mistakes. Now, you'll tend to make a lot more mistakes than I make. I try to make mistakes on purpose. So you see it here first. For example, notice all these statements end with semicolons. So what happens if I leave one out? I get a little red line. If I look at it, it's going to say, syntax error, insert semicolon to complete statement. Now you might wonder, if it can tell me to insert a semicolon, why doesn't it just insert the semicolon? Well, it could in that case. It's not always exactly right about what mistake you made, depending on how bad the mistake is. But you'll be making plenty of mistakes, and that's fine. When I write a program, I get fully red, and I have to fix it. It's just like writing if you write a program in Word or something, write on a program, a paper, and you start typing misspelled words or make certain grammatical errors, it gets marked. Same thing here. Now, here's a program that does the same thing. What's going to be different about it? It said it runs in the terminal. So you'll notice this part of the code, the temp-F and the temp-C assignments are the same. But it is, instead of using show input dialog and show message dialog, it's calling print in print line. So you judge from that, you figure out, it's somehow displaying it differently. So let me show you what it means to print to the console. So there's the console window. So if I run the program, you'll see in the console window it says enter degrees Fahrenheit. So I'll say 72, I hit enter, and it displays the result in the console. That's just a different way of doing input and output. Okay? And I'll tell you right now, your first assignment for PS1 is going to be write a program like this. That it's not going to do temperatures, but it's going to get some input from the user, and it's going to do some calculation. It's going to display the result. So it's not a far stretch from what I've got right there already. Yeah.
Do you care if we do it in like a dialog box or in the console?
I'll tell you, for grading purposes, I care very much whether you do it in the dialog box or the line. You need to. I'll tell you exactly how to do it. So it's like I told you, the program's going to be graded partly by GradeScope, which is going to run tests. And to run those tests, you have to follow my directions exactly to work. Or it won't work. There are places where creativity is good, and places where you've got to do exactly what I say. Yeah.
What's the difference between dot print and dot print?
Okay, that's a reasonable question. What's the difference between dot print and dot print line? And I don't know if I've got.
It moves the cursor down.
Line goes to the next line.
Okay. So the handy thing is I can put the mouse over print, and it says print a string. And then there's some red tape there. And if I put it over print line, it says prints a string and then terminate the line. So it just the print line adds a new line at the end. So don't put yourself on the queue to ask, what does this method do? Just put the mouse on the method, and it finds a documentation and tells you what it does. Now, if you don't understand the documentation, ask the person next to you. If that doesn't work, then call the TA over. Okay? Okay, so this is one style of interacting with Java. We're basically writing complete programs and then running them. But there's another style that's supported. And that's
it's supported because of the plugin that you're going to be installing in Eclipse. So if I go up here to File, and I click Launch JShell, then it brings up JShell, and I can't tell you how many hours I spent this past weekend trying to get it so the prompt would come up right away. But for some reason, you have to hit Enter a few times to make it pay attention. And this used to work perfectly, and then the latest version of Java, it stopped working perfectly. But anyway, in JShell, how many of you have programmed in Python before? Okay. So here, JShell is going to remind you of how you interact with Python. So you can write, you don't put complete programs into JShell, you can put little bits, and it executes. So I can give it, here's a very simple thing, 3. And you're basically asking Java, what is the value of 3? If this thing appeared in a program, what would its value be? And of course you know the answer is going to be 3. Or you could say, okay, what's 4 plus 6? And it'll tell you it's 10. Or you could do this. Take something a little more complicated. Oops. Okay, tell it print out degree C, and it prints out degree C. So we'll tend to use JShell a lot at the beginning of the semester as we're learning about the small bits. These are called expressions, these are called statements. So it's convenient to be able to experiment with things in JShell. And then gradually, as we get better at Java, we'll be writing bigger programs and tend to not use JShell as much. For example, here's a method, math.sqrt. What do you suppose that does? Right, and you can, if you couldn't figure that out, you can go and take the square root of 9, and you'll see that it's 3. And you might ask, what happens if you give a negative number? Well, you don't have to even read the documentation. You can just try it out and see what happens. And it turns out you get back something NaN, which stands for not a number. Okay? So you can, let me see if I can do this. Okay? I'm going to start JShell differently. So before I showed you how to start it from the File menu, I can also right-click on a project. This is the project right here. And I can launch JShell on it. Hang this thing. Okay. So in theory, I should be able to say hello.main. Let's see if I can run the program that way. Okay. Okay. So I can, you can take code that you wrote and use it down there in JShell. Okay, so in the time that we have left, I want to show you a few more aspects of this plugin. So you'll see, can anyone read the name of the project I'm using up there? No, up here on the left-hand side. I think it's CS1410. Right, so CS1410, F190819 begin. So what that is CS1410, fall semester of 19, August 19th. So what I do before class starts is I post the code I'm going to use in class that day. And then after class, if I wrote any code, a lot of times I'll take the code I started with and write some code, and it's different at the end of class than it was at the beginning. If that happens, I repost with the end, so beginning and before class, after class. So if you want to go and get the code that I used today, all you have to do is come up here to File, and click on New, and click on Project, and if you dig around, you'll find Canvas Project Manager, Canvas Project. So that's what you want to use. It's going to ask you which class are you in, and you'll only have one choice. Fall 2019. You'll say Next. And it's going to go off to the Canvas page, and it finds that I have code that goes with assignments, lectures, solutions, and labs, and also you can create an empty project. So for example, if we go to lectures, again, I have stuff you can't see, but here we have that. So if I were to now say finish, it would create this project in Eclipse for me. So you can just use this tool to pull my examples into your Eclipse. That's a good thing to do. There's some code that goes with the lab tomorrow. And if you do that, you get L1 Zachary Joseph. So let me delete that so I can show you how it works. So one thing you'll be learning in the lab is you go to File, New, Project, Canvas Project. I'm going to 2019. I'm going to look at what labs there are. Canvas is a little bit slow today. Labs. There's L1. That's tomorrow's lab. I click Finish, and it tells me what it's doing. It's basically grabbing the code from Canvas and pulling it over into a request. And it'll be done in a minute. And there it is, L1, and it'll put your name at the end. Yeah? Okay. And this is a neat little program I wrote a long time ago. It's called Maze. And I'll just end with it. I'll run it. So it makes mazes and then solves them. So we will we'll end there. You can watch the maze solver if you wish. If you have any questions, come ask. If you need to add codes, though, go to that website.